A new challenger has arrived. For a long time, seismic Lokton has been the go-to grip. Yeah, it certainly has its disadvantages, but all things considered, it is the best grip in the game, full stop. But let's turn our attention to Dark Matter Grip Tape, the new kid on the block. Dark Matter promises a ton of performance and to solve some of the issues that other grip tapes have. And do they deliver? Let's find out. A quick summary. Dark Matter certainly does perform as advertised. It's sharp, grippy, flexible, durable, doesn't really flake, doesn't tear easily, and sticks well too. It ticks all the boxes you'd expect a high performance grip tape to, and it's competitively priced as well. It's not the sharpest of grip tapes and it feels a little less sharp than 36 grit Lokton. However, it is sharp enough and it will keep you locked in and feeling confident when you're skating really fast or skating over rough roads. It also has that bite that I really like Lokton for. Because it's not as sharp as Lokton, shifting your feet felt considerably easier. I felt this grip struck the right balance between being pretty grippy while still being mellow enough that you could shift your feet without too much effort. Dark Matter has quickly become a favorite of mine. However, I can't see it not being a fit for people who want a ton of grip, and seismic 36 grit Lokton would be a better choice. That said, I think it's going to be my go-to from here on out. I quickly want to shout out the accompanying write-up for this video. There's a small interview with Dark Matter there. Some nice questions I've asked them, like what type of glue they used, how to best use the grip tape, and what the design goals were as well. So if you're interested in that, plus a more thorough, detailed and better articulated review, highly recommend you check it out, link in the description. A quick disclaimer, I also use free brake soles, so my review will be written from that point of view. So yeah, just keep that in mind. So who are Dark Matter? Dark Matter is an offshoot brand or sister brand of Rocket Longboards. The homies over there were like, yo, we're not satisfied with what's available in the market, the grip tape, so we're gonna make our own. And they did, you know, be the change you want to see in the world. So yeah. Rocket is known for making top of the line boards, so hopefully this grip tape is a reflection of that as well. So yeah, this grip tape is pretty sharp. It has an initial bite that really holds on to your foot. This bite really digs into your shoe and doesn't want it to budge. It's really confidence inspiring and reassures you that you're locked into the grit and that your foot won't slip off. All versions of Lokton, 3660 have this bite, but the Cuei grip doesn't. Cuei grip is certainly sharp, but it just doesn't have that bite, which is why I've never felt really confident on it, despite it being like really nice and being affordable and being pretty great and all that stuff. It's never felt right for me because of that. Dark Matter isn't the sharpest of grips out there. I place it somewhere between the 36 grit Lokton and the 60 grit Lokton. Kind of feels like it's a 40 grit Lokton, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's not as sharp as 36 grit Lokton, and in this case that translates to it being not as grippy. So flat out, if you like how grippy the 36 grit Lokton is, this grip tape is not going to be right for you. I have actually had some people reach out to me and tell me that this grip tape isn't as grippy as Lokton, and yeah, so it's not for everybody. That being said, I personally feel that the 36 grit Lokton can be a little bit too grippy sometimes. With a 36 grit, because of how grippy it is, you have to be a little bit deliberate with shifting your feet. It's so sharp that your feet are practically bound to the deck, and to shift them you need to put like a bit of considerable effort to unbind your foot. That makes sense. And this often results in a forceful / sudden movement. And when you're going fast, a forceful or sudden movement can unsettle your board a little bit. So with Lokton, because of this, I find I need a little bit more space to set up for a slide. So, I shift my feet, wait for the board to settle a little bit, and then initiate the slide. However, this might be a bit of a personal issue. Not everybody will face this likely. And I know I'm making it sound like a huge deal, but it's just like really small. But at the same time, small things do have an effect, So yeah, I don't really need all the grip the 36 grit Lokton provides, and I actually use the 60 grit Lokton quite a bit sometimes. I also tend to mix and match it, my freeride boards or on my downhill boards, all that good stuff. And the 60 grit is actually like super underrated, and I wish a lot more people used it. It does have that bite that the 36 grit has, but it's just a lot easier to shift your feet when you want to. And yeah, if you're not skating really grippy wheels, it's the go-to man in my opinion. But here's where the Dark Matter comes in for me. The Dark Matter is slightly less grippy than the 36, but a whole lot more grippy than the 60. So it's like I get some of that bite and that grippiness, but I can still shift my feet pretty easily. It's just kind of like the right balance for me. So yeah, that's that. For someone who shifts your feet a lot, then I think the Dark Matter is going to be a much better option for you in this case. If not, then yeah, the 36 grit is maybe the way to go for you. There hasn't been any balding so far with this grip tape. I haven't used it for a really long time, but within a couple sessions, really bad grip tapes bald. When I've used vicious or generic grip, especially with brake soles, I noticed balding like within 2 sessions. This hasn't balded. And I also did ask other people who've skated it for a while, and opinion was the same, no balding. And I haven't really used this long enough to test the durability, so I will update you guys in a few months with what I think of the durability, if it's lost any sharpness. But most grip tapes do lose a bit of sharpness. Seismic Lokton does a little bit, Cuei does as well, it's noticeable, Vicious does a lot. But yeah, I think this very comparable to Seismic. It's gonna last a long time and it might lose a little bit of sharpness, but not that much. But I will update you all. Generally speaking, I haven't really noticed any flaking with this stuff. There is stuff I have done to see if I could provoke some flaking, but otherwise I haven't really noticed any flaking with regular use. In comparison, Seismic Lokton flaked unprovoked, especially the cardout version. It just flaked a lot. However, that didn't really affect performance for Lokton, so I don't know if flaking is that big of a deal altogether. Maybe if a considerable area flakes, but if it's just a little bit, I think, you know, it's negligible, you can get away with it, so whatever. Another thing is dark matter didn't really flake on the exposed edges. Of course, it flaked where like I scored the grip tape so that I could cut the excess off the razor blade, but other than that I haven't really noticed any other flaking. I do expect there to be some flaking though, as I don't think the grip tape is indestructible, but yeah, that will tell with time and I will update you guys. I did ask others who skated it longer than me and most said that they haven't really noticed any flaking. So I did say I did some stuff to provoke some flaking, and one of them was wrapping it around the rail. Here's where I usually do my toe sides. I push toe side with my back foot, and yeah, there is quite a bit of flaking. To be fair, most grip tapes will flake, Lokton will flake. Cuei surprisingly did not and held up like really well. I don't remember if there was any flaking because I made that review like a year ago, but yeah, this one has flaked. And to be fair, if I did like cut out the excess and not wrap it around the rails, I don't think there would have been any flaking. So there's that. This grip tape is also pretty flexible. The micro doesn't have the most complex of concaves, but it's flexible enough that I didn't really feel like, you know, I had to force the grip to do or move in ways that were against its nature. You know, it's just stuck pretty easy, no problem. Also wrapped around the rails like pretty well, no problem as well, so it is pretty flexible. This grip tape is also pretty strong. It doesn't really tear very easily, so there's that. Lokton does have a bit of a problem, like if a piece of it unsticks, then you shift your feet very aggressively, you can't get a bit of it to tear. Also, when you take it off, sometimes chunks do tear off, so that is quite difficult to remove Lokton. But yeah, this doesn't tear. You can't tear it off with your hands if you're strong enough, like this. Oh jeez. There we go. Ow. And it does tear off in a clean straight line, which is pretty cool. I think you're not going to be able to tear it off with your feet, so that's very cool. But yeah, the application process of this grip tape was actually fairly easy and straightforward. This grip tape didn't feel like it was the easiest to cut. I had a bit of a dull blade, so I can't confirm for sure. Sorry guys. I think maybe it's as difficult to cut as Lokton, but if you do score the side with your screwdriver, that'll make it considerably easier to cut this grip. I also tried to get this to wrap around the rails of my board just to see how well that glue stuck. To test this, I wrapped it around the very thin rail of the micro and even the thinner rail of the wheel well as well. Most grip tapes, if they have like glue that doesn't stick very easily, are not going to be able to do this. The dark matter was able to do this pretty easily. On the side that I do use, the wheel well bit got stuck and it stuck on. On the side that I don't use, the glue started to come apart a little bit, so if my experience is going to be consistent with yours, it will likely stick here. But anyway, this is just to test how well the glue sticks, and yeah, sticks like really well, man. Really impressed with this. Very few grip tapes would be able to do this, only the really flexible ones, so yeah. Another very interesting thing about this is that it has a fiber backing. This is very different from what else is on the market. Usually you have either the plastic backing, which is consistent with Vicious and Cuei grip, then you have the paper backing, which is what you get on the Seismic Lokton grip, and those do have their own advantages. According to dark matter, the fiber backing is going to be a lot better in the rain than the paper backing. The paper backing does get a bit soggy, and if water does get under it, it becomes very easy for the whatever to unstick from the board. So yeah, so this should work better. I live in Kenya, man. The last time I rain skated was in 2020 in May, so yeah, sorry guys, there's no way I'm gonna test that. But yeah, the other thing is that the fiber backing is better for the environment, I think. I'm not sure, someone correct me in the comments, I'm wrong. And yeah, it's also pretty flexible. It should be just as flexible as the plastic backing. Yeah, a lot more flexible than the paper backing. Shouting out the write-up again, if you guys want to see a quick comparison between the Dark Matter, Cuei and Lokton grip, I have like a comparison chart there, comparison table. Do check it out. Cool. And to be honest, there's not a lot that I didn't like about this grip tape. Obviously, if you want the grippiest grip tape, then it's not for you. But personally, it wasn't an issue for me. I actually liked it because of that. The other thing that I didn't like is that it only comes in one color. Admittedly, this color is pretty ugly. Yeah, man, this is a really ugly color, bro. Kind of sucks that Lokton comes in blue only, but that blue isn't that bad. But yeah, this is an ugly color, and I would highly recommend something other color to be used, you know, something else, bro, for the swag. But other than that, there wasn't really any performance loss for me. So a few things I didn't really test. I didn't really test if this stacks, but it will stack if you have enough surface area around whatever it is that you're trying to stack on top of. So there's that. And yes, it also does become a little bit more flexible when you heat it up. Not that more flexible, but yeah, I don't really heat up my grip tape, and I don't really have any complex concave shapes to paste this around. So don't know how useful the heating will be and how effective it'll be, to be honest with y'all. But yeah, other things I haven't tested is how well they work in the rain. Yeah, it just doesn't rain here, man. It hasn't rained like much in the last few months. Okay, it has, but the thing is, when it rains here, it's a storm. It doesn't drizzle. It rains cats and dogs, mate. So it's not very nice. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Highly recommend you guys get this grip tape. It's really great, definitely a favorite of mine, and I'm definitely going to be using more of it here on out. Big thanks to Rocket for sending me this stuff for free. They also sent me a micro, and I'm working on a review for that. It's a few weeks out. But yeah, big thanks to the subscribers. As always, big thanks to the patrons as well. Absolutely love you guys. And yeah, thanks for watching the video. Please like, please comment, helps the video quite a bit. Maybe share it with your friends. And yeah, man, catch you guys in the next one.